As vice mayor, town council selection for interim mayor. There's been a lot of question. It took us 3 sessions and close to get the facts straight, exactly what the legislature was saying and what our charter was saying. The town charter and code of Virginia state that it is an affirmative duty of the town council to select the interim mayor. The town charter is in effect the constitution of the town. It is granted to the town by vote of the General Assembly of the Commonwealth of Virginia. It's a duty of the town council to follow both the town charter and the code of Virginia. The charter of the town of Virginia, in the event of a death, removal, or resignation of a mayor, the council shall choose one of the councilmen or some other qualified voter of the town of Front Royal, who shall serve as the mayor until the next succeeding municipal election, at which time a successor shall be elected as by qualified voters of the town of Front Royal to fill the office of the mayor for the remainder of the unexpired term. The town charter and the code of Virginia give the town council 45 days to choose an interim mayor. The town council does not itself fulfill this important task. If we do not fulfill this important task, the Circuit Court of Warren County will itself choose the interim mayor as is required by law. A tie vote means matters before the town council which require an up or down vote will be defeated. The citizens and taxpayers of the town of Front Royal deserve better and deserve to have an interim mayor appointed promptly by the town council, as stated by the town charter and the code of Virginia. I wanted to express that to each and every one in the public. There's been a lot of question. We were very deliberate in our debate and discussion in closed session. We wanted to make sure that everything was above board and in the clear for clear understanding by everyone. Item number 11, council appointment for interim mayor. I need a motion, please.
I move that council appoint Al Larsen as interim mayor for the town of Front Royal, said term to expire December 31st, 2019.
Nominated who? Al. Motion's been made and for motion of Al. State again.
Larsen.
Al Larsen. Do I have a second? Hearing none, motion's defeated.
Mr. Vice Mayor, I move that council appoint Matt Tederick as interim mayor for the town of Front Royal, said term to expire December 31st, 2019.
Second.
I have a motion and a second.
Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, I'd like to move that the town council, as an amendment to this motion, that the town council move to ask the circuit court to appoint the interim mayor.
I have a motion. I have a motion for the circuit court to appoint an interim mayor. I have the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion. I have a second. Discussion.
Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, I'll get that straight on that. The reason I'm bringing this up, we can't agree on this, and I think the town council ought to go ahead and ask the court to put somebody in here that we all agree to and can work with. That's why I'm making this motion as an amendment to the actual motion, because I just feel that we would be better served by all of us being able to take the appointment from the circuit court than all 3 or 4 of us sit here and say they don't agree with that particular person that they want to appoint.
Anyone else?
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry.
2 clarifications. For Doug Napier, just to clarify for us. The motion, if let me start over. If consensus isn't gained tonight, 4-2, the vote fails, and then ultimately this does go to the circuit court to designate an interim mayor, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. So because of that, I'm willing to entertain Councilman Gillespie's proposal, and if it fails, then it goes to the circuit court judge. I'm okay with that. But another clarification, the motion has an interim term to expire December 31st, 2019. Oh, never mind, I strike that. So if the special election happened in November, it still wouldn't take effect until January 1st, 2020, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
And I'm okay with the circuit court appointment because in the times that we're in, the political climate that we're in, just paying attention to the public and what's going on, everybody wants a new name, a new face, not the same business as usual that goes on here in Front Royal. And so I think it's important that it needs to be an outside person, and we don't have to decide on that tonight. We can go to the circuit court.
Anyone else? Hearing none, we need a roll call for the
Amendment.
Yes, this is the vote to have it amended to move the item to the circuit court.
yes, we're voting on the amendment at this point.
Yes, just wanted to clarify. Councilman Gillespie,
No.
Councilman Holloway,
No.
Councilman Meza,
No?
Vice Mayor Sealock,
No.
Councilman Tewalt,
Yes.
and Councilman Thompson.
Yes.
Motion failed.
The amendment to the motion has been denied. Let's go to the original motion.
Do we have discussion on this?
All right, I will back up on the original motion.
Yes.
Okay. Discussion on the original motion. You would like to go first?
Yes, Mr. Vice Mayor. I wanted to comment, again, I mentioned that I've been on council now for 3 years, and picking an interim mayor, or making sure that there's a designated mayor, period, is not an easy task for people who haven't served on council. There are a lot of nuances. There is an understanding of how to form the agenda, how to work with the current council, how to even sit up here on the dais and conduct town business. It is not as easy as just picking an individual from the town to fulfill that role. Preferably somebody could fill that role who had past council experience or past mayor experience. And we have solicited individuals to fulfill that role, and either were not able or did not want to fill that role. We've even talked about having one of our own council members step into that role and fill the interim mayor position. The problem is that we've been advised that if we do that, then we have until the special election, and we either have to, we fill the mayor seat, run in the special election to try to keep it for the following year, and in doing so, we also give up our council vote. So you can imagine after running and being elected to be on town council, that's a hard proposition to step into, and only to lose your council vote at the end of the year for a whole other year of your term. So I really appreciate Councilman Sealock stepping in and filling the interim mayor position. It's not easy, and I know that all of us sitting up here tonight would be happy to fulfill that role, but we take our duty as elected council members to fulfill our full term, and that's ultimately why we're here today, trying to figure out what's best for the town. So there is a bit of a divide here tonight, understandably so. It's very difficult to get consensus on the next person to step in, but I can tell you, I can speak for myself to say that picking somebody who has the experience, who can fulfill a role for 6 months and step out until a special election does bring me some peace of mind, knowing that we have a lot going on right now as a town, and we can keep the ball and momentum rolling. That hasn't appealed to me. So I can't speak for everybody else, but I can tell you why there aren't specific individuals stepping up from town council to fill that role. and that I appreciate the spirited debate that has gone back and forth because it is not an easy decision to make.
Anyone else? Ms. Berry, roll call, please.
Mr. Tederick, Councilman Gillespie,
Yes.
Councilman Holloway,
Yes.
Councilman Meza,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sealock,
Yes.
Councilman Tewalt,
No.
Councilman Thompson.
No.
Motion carries.
Well, we were at the end of the meeting. Thank you all again for coming.
Can I ask a quick question?
Question.
Mr. Napier, when will that be effective?
As soon as Mr. Tedrick qualifies by taking the oath of office,
And still has to accept it, correct?
and has to accept it, of course. Yes.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Town council meeting is closed.
We're here at the town council meeting. The town council just voted 4-2 to select Matt Tederick as their mayor. Do you want to give us a list of the other the total 6 names that you considered on that? I know you kept it pretty close to your chest here in the last couple of weeks. And we know Al Larsen, and we know Matt Tederick. Was there anyone else? And I know we're going to assume that you spoke to previous mayors and they turned you down. So
We spoke
what was the
to-
process? How did you come about the process in your debate? Did just people come up with names?
The council was contacted by other people.
Right,
Each councilman had the opportunity to go out and speak to not only, originally was 1,
right.
and then we actually had 6. I prefer not to say the ones that denied.
That's fine, that's
They-
fine.
they-
We don't
there
need to
was
drag
prior-
them into the, we don't need to drag them into the.
No, I don't agree with that.
I
They
agree
were
with-
prior mayors, councilmen.
They knew what they were gonna get into and they
Well, I wouldn't say that.
they said no.
But the 3 that were in the mix was Al Larsen, Matt Tederick, and Planning Commission gentleman, George,
McFadden?
you remember? You remember the Planning Commission that said yes?
Doug Jennings.
Doug Jennings, okay. All right.
That
So it
was
seems
the
like the
3.
consensus of the council is Matt Tederick. And you spoke-
Consensus tonight was
Tonight.
4. The previous meeting in closed session was 4-2. 2 dissenting votes for 2 different individuals.
Right, right.
So,
And I'll assume that the way Matt spoke, we spoke to him earlier, somehow the name got out of your council. We got to seal them lips up somehow. I don't know who is.
I'm not too happy about that because I made a promise to the press that 28th would be the date. The council agreed to it.
Right.
We worked through the issues of the legislative piece. It not only applies to council and mayor, it talks about school boards and elected officials all over. It's just not, our concern was that we had 3 appointments that we did not go through this process. And we wanted it very straight and clear. And it took closed sessions to get through that.
Right, right.
And the general public doesn't understand that you shouldn't be out there just talking about people without knowing all the facts.
Right, right.
And I was looking for the step process. 1, you do this. That's why I read tonight the sheet that I had in
Yes.
front of me. Because it's imperative that the right scoop gets out. We got a portion of the citizenry that thinks they should have had a voice in this. Well, they had a voice. November 5th will be their voice.
Exactly.
And then they'll fill that 1-year term for the prior mayor.
Right, right. Well, just, as you notice, we did run a story about this the other day, and I can tell you none of the information came from council members. It was just rumors, and when we talked to Mr. Tederick, and he confirmed that he was approached, but he didn't have a clue one way or the other whether you're going to select him or not. So none of your council members, as far as our knowledge is, spilled the beans, so to speak. So, which is good, but somebody down the road somewhere, how the story got out, I don't know, but it did. And I agree that when you speak in these closed sessions, it should be sealed lips.
It's
So
a
they say in the
trusted-
military, they say loose lips sink ships. I mean,
Well, it's a trusted position when you go into closed session.
it's like our grand jury. You know, you always hear these things that are slipping out. Of course, you know, members of the press, we're trying to, you know, we prod until, you know, looking for that little tidbit of information,
Well,
but.
you take me back to Vietnam, when I was in the hole with a fellow Marine. When he was asleep, he trusted me to be on guard.
Right.
And when I was asleep, I definitely trusted him. And this leakage causes real issues.
Well,
The
this-
trust factor is missing.
Well, and I think that trust factor also expands into some of our issues that we else have going on in the county with our EDA and everything else. It boils down to trust, and that's really the name of the game. I think we need to be able to put the trust back into some of our all our officials and our government.
And
that we can
I
trust them.
understand that as an elected official. I am the voice of my constituency, and I try to do the best job possible.
Right.
So,
Well, you kept your word. You said you were going to let us know on May 28th.
Right down the line.
And you did. I just wanted to touch base with you and see if you would give up some information, which he won't, so that's good. He lives up to his word. We appreciate it there, Councilman Sealock, Vice Mayor. You'll have somebody here to help you out
Yep.
on these meetings. I'm sure you're glad, you're looking forward to that.
I'm finally getting the hang of it, maybe.
Maybe one more meeting and you'll be okay. All right, thanks again
Thank
for
you all.
talking to us.